Welcome back, everyone, to Merge Conflict, your weekly developer podcast. This week, we are diving deep into last week's Big Apple event. It's been 6 days. Well, 2 days for you and me, Frank, but 6 days since the Apple event has occurred. You and I both currently have a
iPhone 11 Pro, baby. Best phone on the market.
I did look it up. I can sell it for about $120 for parts on eBay. Not bad.
Not worth it.
It has a cracked back, and one of the cameras, whenever I take a photo, goes.
Oh, that's funny. Mine spent 1 week underwater, literally underwater, and is otherwise perfectly fine, except the speaker's not so hot. The external speaker's not so great.
Well, it sounds like this Apple event should be fine-tuned for you and I. Now, let's all just be honest about this. So, as we know, in our journey, Frank had newer phones.
I did. And worse than that, I had the phone that I was sure I was going to keep for like 3-4 years. Like I'm a little tapped out on iPhones. Like they really just haven't been bringing me joy lately. I still love iPhones, but like the devices themselves, we've kind of plateaued a bit. And so I was planning on keeping my old phone forever. But James, do you know what happened? I think everyone knows what happened. The sea claimed another one of my phones.
That's what the sea does. That is what the sea does, my friend. So
embarrassing.
We were on the lake and we were doing canoeing, and Heather, it was in real time slow mo where she like took it out of her pocket. It just started to slip, and then she caught it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But you could see it. You could almost foreshadow like the future.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it's gone. We're getting a new iPhone tomorrow.
No, but you just got to be ready to jump. You got to jump in. You just go after it. Forget whatever else is in your pockets, car keys, forget them. You just jump in that lake and you get that phone. It's going to sink like a rock, but you can swim. You can use your hands and you can swim down and catch that rock.
Well, luckily I didn't have to. That is for sure, because I would maybe not have
That's
been
a close
so
call.
great.
That's great.
It was a close call. So you had a newer phone. You had an iPhone. Was it 15, 14? Which one did you have?
Oh, whatever the latest one is. I've lost count of these things. 16.
16
and
Pro.
It was an expensive one too, because I was looking up to compare prices of this year versus last year. And turns out, yeah, I spent a few dollars. I had the 512 gigabyte upgrade. Yeah, Ooh. It was a beautiful little phone. Had it in the fancy, every year they have a fancy color. I had it in the ugly taupe color that you can never tell. Is it brown or is it white? It's taupe. That's the
taupe.
color.
Taupe action. So what we do in our family household, as some of our viewers may know, what traditionally has been every 3 years is Heather gets a new phone because she's our official photographer in the family. Nice. I get her old phone, and then my old phone becomes my work phone.
Yeah. Okay. That works.
So this is the SE2. I got the iPhone 11 Pro here. She has the iPhone 14 Pro. So every 3 years would be this year. 14 plus 3. Yep. So technically,
so it's happening. It's happening. We're all getting phones this year.
Well, let's break it down, Frank, because there was an Apple event, and Apple sure does love drone footage. I watched the whole 1 hour and 20 minute of drone footage keynote that traversed from morning to night.
I didn't even notice that. You were paying more attention than I was.
Tim woke up early, went to bed real late. He announced those AirPods real early. The Pro, he was basically asleep. It was go time. He was awake, but it was bedtime, I should say, if that makes sense.
You can probably tell I'm away from home, and I'm terrible at time zones. And so I woke up bright and early at 8 a.m. at the time zone I'm in, because I figured it's 2 hours earlier than the normal time zone I'm in. And then I realized, I did the time zones backwards. It's actually in 4 hours from now because
Oh
I'm
no.
terrible at time zones.
Oh my gosh.
That's just one of those things. And so by the time the show actually came out, I was just like desperate. I'm like, come on, get to it. I've been waiting for 4 hours for this
Uh,
thing to happen.
well, Nintendo, so like today's the 11th and tomorrow's the 12th, and Mario's celebrating 40 years, and they're doing an hour-long Nintendo Direct. But all of Nintendo's directs, like their live streams, start at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6
Oh,
a.m.
crazy.
Pacific. It's always
Nice.
now do happen to get up early, but it's always at 6 a.m., which I oddly appreciate because it's non-work hours for me at least. So that is
Mm-hmm.
nice. But no, I didn't watch it live. I like as it was happening, Hanselman was frantically texting me and said, "What do I buy?" And I was like, "I don't know. Whichever one has the best camera." I said, "Whichever one has the best camera, buy that one."
He's a camera guy? Yeah. Okay,
No,
fair.
no, it doesn't matter.
No?
No,
Oh, that's just a rule.
that is
Okay.
the rule. Whichever one has the best camera, buy that one because
Hmm.
these things aren't they're not phones, they're cameras. And that's all they are, or they're glorified cameras. So buy the best camera. That's my thing.
We'll
Well,
get
because
into it then.
okay, let's
Yep.
just be honest. This device, 6 years old, six
Yeah.
years. That is
Yeah.
$120 a year of value. That is not bad, my friend. Now, iPhone SE2, which is getting iOS
Was that 10 years
26.
old? I don't even know.
It's 125 years old. This is running an A2 uh, Bionic. Remember Bionics?
It's got the knurls.
It's got at least one. No, it has zero knurls.
Oh, zero
Um,
knurls. Okay.
Zero. No, none of
What
our
makes
phones
it
have
bio?
knurls.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's bionic. It's like futuristic.
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
Cybernetic
I
bionic.
my recommendation to him was just buy the best camera.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we live in our household because Heather is the photographer. So when she gets a new phone, I get her phone, and then it goes down the chain, like I just said.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it then. Because well, we'll come back to AirPods and watch because I'm actually fascinated because you wrote 2 lines of
Will
text.
we? Gosh,
Okay,
I don't know. Are they even worth talking about? Okay. So iPhones
AirPods.
first.
I don't.
AirPods.
You have AirPods in your
I
ear.
have AirPods. Oh, hey, you know what? This is funny too. I dropped my AirPods in the water. And now every time I put my AirPods on, there's a really loud, high-pitched squeal that happens in my ear holes where my ears are. Every time I put the AirPods on, there's a high-pitched I'm not even going to try to reproduce it because that would be mean to everyone. Everyone imagine the worst sound ever every time I put them in my ears. And yet, James, still don't think I'm going to upgrade because you know what?
I
They work fine after the high pitched squeal.
Now I used to be an audio junkie. I used to have like all the big beats. I used to have every single headphone that
Yeah.
was out there. Now I mostly rock little $10 buds, and then I have these
Yeah.
Philip wireless Bluetooth $20 ones. That's all I need. I have there's nothing Apple could do. There's nothing that Google could do. There's nothing that anybody
Well,
could do that would make me pay any money anymore for headphones. I caring about
you've
audio.
given up.
I think
Yeah.
I've given up on audio, which,
But James,
except for these, which are also 10 to 15-year-old media, like studio headphones from Sony. I've replaced the pads in them like 4 times. Fantastic headphones. Buds, I cannot for the life of me grasp it, but they do have a killer feature.
ooh, killer feature. Is it the fact that it comes with 5 different ear hole sizes? Is that the killer feature?
Well, one, I'll tell you this much. One, that there are 5, but also that they're foam. And my favorite,
That
my
really is the killer feature.
my favorite my earbuds, which are not wireless, they're wired ones, are like the Philips Marshmallows. They're like $10 and they're all foamy
Oh,
inserts. I love
nice.
the foam. It's kind of like, it's good.
Oh,
Anyway, so when I saw that, I was like, that's cool. But no, it is a health feature, which is
right.
heart rate.
Heart rate. You know, I wasn't sold on the heart rate, but I think I needed time to process it
Mhm.
because I'm like, well, heart rate, you can get that with the Apple Watch, or, you could just take 10 seconds and count your own heart rate. But truth is, like, I've really learned the trick of like when jogging and hiking to set a heart rate goal, and
Yeah.
then you slow down and speed up to just kind of keep your heart rate at that goal. And I do have to admit that's kind of my favorite way to jog and hike these days.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can, and I'm always going to be wearing my AirPod thingers. So that feature I thought was a bit of a joke at first, but it's kind of growing on me. Like
Yeah.
if it's at all accurate, yeah.
I think it's pretty neat. And, not everyone has an Apple Watch, even though it's the most successful watch in history. But, I thought that was a neat feature. I'm interested to see how that evolves over time. Obviously, all the active noise cancellation, all the stuff they have packed in, all seems great. Now, I will say this. I am appreciative of people that have newer AirPods because the audio in them is much better. I think
Yeah.
are you recording on your AirPods right now?
For the microphone, no, I am using my old-fashioned blue raspberry.
Oh, you have the
But
Raspberry. Okay. Well, I was like, oh, it sounds pretty good, but I guess not.
well,
But
I didn't want. It's funny because they took it a little adventure in the water. I didn't want to chance it tonight, but we should do some
smart.
tests
We do some tests. Let's get on to said watch. I have an Apple Watch. I have an
later.
SE2. They announced an SE3. They also announced an Apple Watch some number. They should make everything 26. I don't know why they just
11?
didn't
I'm gonna go say 11 just for fun.
11.
Hmm.
It got, the thing with the Apple Watch, I will say, they pull on the heartstrings of all the success stories of all the amazing things that Apple Watch has saved people. It's a tearjerker. I always cry during those because it's like that could be me. I ride my bike, all the time. You don't know what's going to happen. We've all known somebody that's gotten into a car accident, small or big, or something like that. It's crazy streets. Um, People that adventure off. I think actually the Apple Watch probably in general is the best device that you could probably purchase. And this one, it has the fall detection, has the SOS on it. That was why we upgraded. It's mostly for fall detection because I cycle. And I did get into a
Yeah,
bike accident where Heather had to take me and get a bunch of stitches, and that happens, and it could have been easily something else. So I think, the Apple Watch itself, uh, whether it's a fitness device or a safety device or a watch, um, I think it is actually maybe my favorite device that Apple probably actually makes.
interesting.
And because of all the health things that are packed in. Now, granted, I don't have like the fanciest one of all of them. I wish that they would democratize that down for everyone. They do over time, obviously. But yeah, there's new versions.
Yeah.
They have heart arrhythmia, I think it is.
Arrhythmia. You
Arrhythmia,
hit
thank
it.
you. In it, which was really cool. That's like FDA certified, all this other stuff, which seemed really neat. And then, yeah, it's bigger, faster. It's got 5G. It's got like their own chips in it. Seems great. New watches, and the SE3 seems cool as well. I think it's a device that we purchased one for Heather's dad. My stepmom has one.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely delightful. I think it's a of any device that I own, it is a device that probably could be a device that saves my life. And
Interesting.
that's something to say for $200, for all the things that it can, so I think I'm glad they're keeping a push forward on it. I'm not sold on the crazy expensive one. That's like the outdoor one. Is that
No,
the one
no
that you have?
Ultra for you.
No Ultra for me. What do
No,
you
I
got?
do not have the Ultra. I have a very old, I don't even know what series, 6 or 7 or something like that. The problem is I am due for a new watch because mine does not last out the day, which is
Mm.
very annoying in a watch. But truth is, I just don't use mine the way you do. I I
What do you do
rarely
with your
put it on
watch?
these. Not much. It's mostly a travel device at this
Mm.
point. So like when I go on trips, I take it just because I want to have a backup for this or that, or I
Mm.
maybe actually want to know the time. But mostly I'm on island time, and the sun earthly time does not matter at all to me. So I don't need the watch part. That's for sure. Um, yeah, so I that one I keep having debates about. I probably use it less than I use the Vision Pro.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm just gonna keep debating. It's not an easy sell for me.
Yeah.
I can just keep using my old watch, which is, like I said, barely making it through the day, if not making it through the day at all.
I
So
watch
it's a tough one for me.
I use the Heather and I both use the SE1. It was a Series 3 actually. It wasn't the SE. I guess the
Hmm.
SE. I don't know whatever this one is. The newer SE. Maybe SE1. I don't know whatever it is. Whatever the SE was before this SE. But we had the Series 3, which was around forever. We got it for like, $120 or whatever. And I kept that until it died because I was in these
Yeah.
bike accidents where I actually cracked the screen and water got in and it actually stopped working. We talked about in the pod. And I would still have that. And in fact, Heather was like, I don't need this. I don't need an upgrade. I was like, well, I want to have the same device. So like, the XYZ. Well,
Okay.
we don't use it for anything besides just tracking exercises. And that's it. Like we
Yeah.
take a
That's
walk, we do
valid.
cycle. That's all we usually use it for. Oh, and tides. Tides. So good. We're on the
Gotta have
coast.
that tide chart.
The
Yeah.
tide chart is like the best. It's really good. Besides that, that's
Yeah.
all we use it for in general. Maybe the weather, the current temperature, but that's really it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a watch. And you can't make watch faces still, right?
This is the most important thing, okay? The hardware is nice and all, but I'm always looking at the Watch OS version. And can app developers, by the way, James, this is a development podcast. Can app developers make watch faces yet? James, what's the answer?
No.
No. No. No, we cannot. I don't think we ever will be able to at this point. I'm somewhat giving up, but I'm going to keep my vigil. I'm going to keep reporting on this podcast on whether we can make watch faces this year. And the answer inevitably is going to be no, but I'm going to keep trying and I'm going to keep hoping. I'll say it right now. The year they let us make watch faces, I will buy a new watch. I hope you're listening, Tim Cook. You would have my sale.
You'll have his $400. All right, let's get to the iPhone, the
All right.
thing that everyone's excited about. New iPhone 17s, also one that doesn't have a number because it's the first ever. But let's do it in the order of operation in which Tim announced them.
Yeah, if it's good enough for Tim, it's good enough for us.
I agree.
I think the iPhone 17 is the beautiful one because it's the normal sized iPhone. It's everything else is a little bit weird this year, and this is just the classic one, but with something pretty cool. It's the 48 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
Remember when Nokia's had this like 10 years ago? Now
Mm-hmm.
iPhone's got it. It's honestly pretty cool. I don't want to make fun of it because it is nice to finally get like a really high definition sensor on these puppies. I really don't want 10 megabyte photos for every single photo I take, but that's the world we live in. Hopefully the H.265 compression is going to be really good and they can squeeze it down. But honestly, I was watching this video, and when they're talking about the iPhone 17, I'm like, maybe this is the first year where I just get a baseline iPhone because it's looking pretty good. It looks like a really nice device and has a good price attached to it. Still high, but cheaper than the other ones. I'll say that much.
It's pretty solid. For this device, it has a tried and true look of the iPhone as the dual camera system on there. It's got the Super Retina. It's got the Pro Motion. It's the first time a Pro feature is in a
Mm.
non-Pro device. All three of these devices have the Super Retina XDR, Pro Motion, always on display, and Dynamic Island, and all of
Cool.
them have the Ceramic Shield 2 front.
Yes. Ceramic Shield 2. It's 3 times harder. In the video, they had it falling on the floor. I'm like, well, we'll see. We'll see. What
Yeah.
happens when I throw it in the ocean? That's my test. That's Apple's test. That's my test.
And so here's the interesting part. They all have that. They all have an action button. They all have the same front camera, which we'll talk about here, the center stage camera, which is very fascinating. They all have very similar front-facing things. They all have the 48 megapixel dual fusion camera system, and then this one obviously has the ultra wide on it. So the thing with the ultra wide puppy on this thing is it's really only like a 1 to 2x. So it's going to match your iPhone 11, right? So your iPhone 11 Pro has a 0.5, 1, and 2x. Now, obviously the sensors are very, very different, and what you're getting out of them obviously is very, very different. But I agree. Like, it has the macro photography on it.
Yeah.
It's got Dolby Vision 4K at 60 FIPS. It's got Apple Intelligence.
Spatial imagery and maybe video. Definitely imagery.
Crash detection, emergency OSS via satellite, roadside assistance via satellite, messaging via satellite, USB-C, MagSafe, with, by the way, 25-watt charging,
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. Uh,
it's a good phone, man.
it's
Like
got an
I'm glad. Sorry.
A19 chip, 16 neural cores, 16 CPU cores. It's got neural accelerators. I mean, it's a
Starts at 256 gig, right?
starts at 256
Yeah.
gig, 64 gig, 64 gig.
So yeah, exactly.
Uh,
I mean, the one I have is actually a 256, but I think I paid like a fortune
yeah,
in order to get that back in the day. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just repeat myself, but I'm watching the video. I'm like, maybe this is finally the year I don't have to buy a Pro because I always have to spend extra on the Pros because I'm a weirdo. And I'm like, oh man, that's looking like a good phone.
it comes in
And
the most colors. It's got lavender, sage, mist blue, white, and black, of course. Very
yeah,
nice. Aluminium.
yeah, it's funny. What's aluminium and what's titanium anymore these days? Like we keep bouncing between the metals, but it feels like aluminum's the right metal to have on these devices. But I don't know. The titanium that we'll get to in the other models, it is a bit of a premium thing, but aluminum seems fine to me.
I do feel
Guess
the
we'll
the real funny part is that they announced the iPhone SE.
did they?
iPhone 16e. Remember that phone?
Right. The
Uh,
E was that the plastic one?
that one was no aluminium frame.
Okay.
Um, Now this one was $600. So this is $200 less, but it has an A18. It doesn't have any. I mean, it does have a neural engine, obviously, but it has like one camera on front, one camera on
Hmm.
back. It's subpar, and it doesn't have MagSafe. It's like for $200 for the $200 difference between a 16e and this base iPhone 17 it's a night and day difference device. The iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 basically look the same, but what you're getting, right? So let's talk about the upgrades from iPhone 16 to 17. You're getting the
Okay.
ProMotion display, always on
Hmm.
display. You're getting the Ceramic Shield 2 on the front. You're getting the A19 chip with the neural accelerators. You're getting 8 hours more of video playback. That's huge. You're upgrading from a 12 megapixel old school true depth camera to the 18 megapixel center stage camera, which has a square sensor, which enables them. This is unbelievably ridiculous to take a photo in portrait, square, or landscape, and automatically with AI figure out what it needs to do. And it's as
Wow.
good as you don't want to rotate your device. You don't have to do that anymore. But that means it also has ultra video stabilization, dual capture, and then additionally, it is an upgraded like double 48 megapixels fusion main and fusion ultra wide compared to the 48 and 12 megapixel that were on there before. So in general, in my opinion, and the other one started at 128 to 256 compared to 16 and 17. So for an extra $100, it between 16 and 17, it's kind of a banger. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
a what a great upgrade for $100 if you had waited and you didn't want to get the iPhone 16, you were going to get the base 17.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough choice, honestly, because I think it's the best bang for the buck. I will say there is one caveat with it. It's the amount of RAM in
Uh,
it, and most people don't need a lot of RAM. Let's just, I mean, if you're just taking photos and doing all that kind of stuff, that the RAM on this phone, which is 8 gigabytes, is absolutely just fine. But we have a new technology this year called Apple Intelligence. We're running the LLMs right on the device, doing all the compute right there.
yeah.
And you know what large language models, AIs love? They love RAM. They want to eat it all up. And the other models of the phones, which we'll get to, are 12 gigabyte models.
Mm,
And so if you plan on using a lot of the local large language model stuff, this may not be the phone for you. That
yeah.
said, it does have the GPU upgrades. It has lots of good stuff. It's just that RAM, and so I'd be that was really the kicker for me when I was debating whether to get this phone or not. I was like, oh darn, I actually do want the big RAM in my phone because I love running the models locally.
Yep. No, that is kind of the kicker, I would say, on it. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. So, but for most users, again, it's
Mm-hmm.
the non-pro, it's a normal version. I think it is a great little device you have here. But let's go on to the Apple revelation. It's the next. It's the teaser of what all of their devices are going to look like in the future, pretty much.
Uh, yeah, maybe. What you are talking about is the iPhone Air, not the iPhone 17 Air, just the iPhone Air.
Frank,
Um,
have you ever held your phone in your hand and you're like, you know what? I wish that this was thinner. Do you ever thought that?
no, I've thought I've wished it was lighter. I wished it was smaller.
Yeah.
Thinner never really came up, if I'm to be 100 million% honest.
The thing with the MacBook Air is it wasn't necessarily that it was thinner because for some of the Airs it was thicker than the MacBook Pros, um, but it was that it was lighter and in a little chicer package, right? Like the Air itself
Mm-hmm.
it was really the lightness, and it was the size actually. Like it's a little bit smaller, you know, got the 14-inch or whatever. You know what I mean? It was like the configuration of the Air, but it was mostly the lightness. So you think with Air, you're like, oh, it's gonna be the lightest, but that wasn't actually the focus. It was they wanted to go thinner. They're like, how thin can we get? What if we could barely fit a USB-C cable? In fact, what if we couldn't even fit a SIM card slot in it? It's that thin. It doesn't even fit. You know, when you look at your phone today, you look at this phone. Look at this phone. It can barely
iPhone.
fit the USB-C anyways on there. But imagine, it's easy to imagine because you're looking at it, that this device started and stopped at the USB-C, and that's what this device is. It is like 55 millimeters or something thin. It's like thinnest 21 millimeters thin. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I forget the exact number. It's like 5.6 or 5.9 on the Air for thickness in millimeters. What if it was so thin that they had to put all the electronics in the camera plateau instead of in the phone?
Oh,
Like that's because they had to make room for all the batteries. So I'm pretty
so
sure all the motherboard and everything else is just crammed up with the camera
so what
in
you're
the thick part of
saying,
the phone.
so what you're saying is, what if you just chiseled out the bottom and moved all that junk to the top?
Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
you would have a good door stop. You could put it under a door and it would probably stop the door because it's very thick, turns out, on the thick part of the phone, which is supposed to be the thinnest, impossibly thin phone ever. Look, I don't want to make fun because I think in the future, of course, we're going to have thinner phones.
Yeah.
Ideally, at some point in time, Apple will learn from Samsung and make a foldy phone. And when we have a foldy phone, the two foldy bits are going to have to be thin, you know,
Yes, exactly.
ideally.
Two foldy
Ideally.
bits turned into one foldy bit. That's what
Yeah. Then we're back to it.
Marquez said. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not there yet. Apple's going to let Samsung keep eating their lunch, and that's going to keep happening for a while. Um, I'm not 100% against it because a lighter phone is better to me. I My exception to this phone is that they really had to compromise on a lot of features to make it that thin. One being the battery itself. This battery doesn't charge as fast as the other batteries, and obviously it's a smaller battery than all the others. Another is that the phone is actually bigger than the iPhone. It's
Yeah.
bigger than the iPhone Pro. The screen is bigger. It's a physically larger device. It's thinner, but it's, pocket space. It's going to still take up roughly the same, if not more pocket space because it's a bigger device now.
Yeah.
And so I applaud their attempts to make the thinner one. I am a little bit here for it. I just feel like this is a bit of a compromised device.
I think this is a glimpse, like you said, into the future that Apple wants to go. So they got to do something. It's the first rev. I can't imagine. I do think that people will buy this because they're going to like, oh,
Yeah.
look at me, look at my look and feel. However, I don't believe that it's a smart choice between iPhone Air and iPhone 17 Pro, which is only so $800, $1,000, $1,100 entry point on these puppies. So I can't imagine in any world that it makes any actual sense to actually buy the iPhone Air versus the iPhone 17 Pro.
Yeah.
Um, in any
It's
world, it doesn't make any sense.
it's sad too. I just so like I said, I'm buying a phone this year. It's just happening. I love the 11, but it's dying. And I had the Air in my car for probably the longest time. I'll tell you how long I had it in my car all the way up until I started reading the technical specs on it. And then it got removed from my cart because like I was here for, okay, maybe the battery doesn't last quite as long as all the others, but it'll be fun, and it's fun to see Apple do some form factor innovation, even if it's only mild. Um, so I was excited for it, and I think a lot of people will be. I think it'll sell
Yeah.
all right.
I think so. But
Yeah.
like you said, it is taller and wider than both the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro. Now, the depth, yes, 5.64 millimeters, 0.22 inches, which is very thin compared to 8 millimeters and almost 9 millimeters. So it is, substantially smaller. However, the weight, here's what's fascinating. The weight of the iPhone, I'm going to go heaviest to lightest. iPhone 17 Pro, which we haven't talked about yet, 206 grams. That's pretty good. That's like a bag of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
iPhone 17, 177 grams. So 206,
177.
177. That's a pretty good, that's like a 30-gram diff.
Yeah.
177. iPhone Air, 165. So only 12-gram difference between the iPhone 7 and the iPhone Air. Now, of course, between the Pro and the Air, big difference. So if you're in the Apple Store,
yeah,
they have those, they're going to be side by side,
they
but
should hand you a Max first, then you can really feel the girth. The
exactly.
weight.
But you know what I mean? And for
What
this
is 12
device,
grams? That feels like, what,
it's
like a quarter teaspoon of salt?
12
I'm trying to
grams.
convert to like cooking terms.
12 grams is the amount of coffee that I put in my AeroPress every morning, which is very minimal
12
for
grams.
one cup of coffee. 12 grams.
Wow. That's not even coffee, dude.
It's not. It's not a lot. It is not. They put more grams of coffee in an espresso pool. Probably it's probably like 18. It's probably like 18 to 20 grams of coffee for like an espresso pool. You know what I mean?
So I think your point is the Air, though thinner, is not necessarily lighter than the other one, and that's because it's the battery. Like the battery takes up. It had to hurt the poor engineers. Like we all want long battery life, and that 12 grams, they had to balance it out somewhere.
They did. Now, this is a beautiful device. However, it is titanium. Everything else is aluminium. So I don't know what's up with the shiny.
To prevent the bend gate, like you got to have some kind of strong metal in there. I mean,
they did say it's the strongest device they've ever made. Like, they're trying to really. Now, it is crazy because the spec wise, it does have an A19 Pro, which is the same as in the Pro model. Yeah. It does have the ceramic shield front too on the front and on the back as well. It's got, the same cameras on the front, on the back. It's got a camera.
It's got nothing, James. Well, I think that was one of the coolest parts I liked about it, because I've been saying forever, please just remove all the cameras from my phone. I don't need a movie studio in my pocket. Like, just give me one good camera. How about that? One good camera.
Back to the basics.
And now I'm realizing I was wrong, because I said earlier, I like the fact that the iPhone 17 actually can do spatial photography. I'm into the 3D. I want everything 3D, and holograms forever. And this phone can't do it. They could do it with AI. They've chosen not to. I have an app out there, by the way, HoloVids. Go buy it. But with one camera, even though it's a nice camera, it's the 48 megapixel whatever thinger, it just can't do the spatial, and it can't do a lot of other little tricks. No LiDAR. I found that kind of interesting. And again, although I don't use the LiDAR constantly, the LiDAR does make AR apps way better than if you don't have the LiDAR.
Yeah.
And also, you can use iPhones these days to scan 3D objects. Like their 3D scanning capability is pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
If there's an object sitting on your desk, you can 3D scan it, walk over to a 3D printer and print that puppy, duplicate it. honestly, I don't take advantage of that very much, but I love knowing I can. I'm living in the future. I can Xerox copy anything on my desk if I actually cared to. So no LiDAR on this puppy. Compromises, compromises, compromise.
I mean, there's not even an ultra wide. I mean, there's no macro
Yeah.
photography on it. I mean, it is 1x 2x. You don't get a 0.5. You don't get the ultra wide. And I think, like, not that I live and die by my ultra wide on my camera, but I use the ultra wide. I probably use the
Mm-hmm.
ultra wide more than I use the 2x, to be honest with you.
Tons. I
Mhm.
definitely use it more than the 2x because you're always in that situation where I'm too close to the object and I can't quite get a photograph of it. So you switch to ultra wide so you can actually capture the area there. Yeah,
I
2x is like you're trying to take a picture of a bird or something.
Yeah.
Who cares about the birds?
The problem you have is when you do the lineup, when you do the compare iPhones, and it takes you into the screen that's like iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone Air, iPhone 17. They do it in order of like price as well and like models.
Mm-hmm.
What you shouldn't have is that. So when a feature doesn't exist, they put a line. The one that is the middle tier, in quotes, middle tier, shouldn't have more lines than the cheaper model. You know what I mean?
It's okay, so this is high level talk now. It is strange where they've positioned this Air. Yeah, because it does feel like the iPhone 17 is better than the Air, and the Pro is better than the iPhone 17. So that means the Air is the lowest of the products, but by price it's not because titanium costs, baby. Smaller batteries, fewer cameras, a little bit of titanium that costs money, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the Air could have been a super knockout product if it was cheaper than the iPhone 17, but they couldn't get there for whatever reason.
They couldn't get there, and I think it's kind of the same positioning when they used to have MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
They position the Air in the middle, right? And however, often the Air had better specs. Like, I got the M1s, I got it did. And now it's like no longer there. Now, the thing that could be fascinating is if they eventually like get rid of like the iPhone 17 and it's just the Air, it's just the Pro or
Mm,
whatever. They go down that
it's
route.
possible, yeah.
I don't know. There's no number. So this is the first one.
And last, no.
Could well, you remember the iPhone mini? Remember that puppy? iPhone 12 mini, 13 mini?
Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
guess. I thought is that different than the SE?
No, it actually is like it has like proper A15, like
Right,
multiple.
right.
It's like a
Yeah.
real,
Bring it
yeah,
back. iPhone
tiny.
3 size kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
James,
should.
why aren't these called the iPhone 26? I thought they were going to
That's
fix their versioning.
so. Here's the crazy part. I was just thinking about
Sorry,
this.
I just thought.
This was the opportunity because on
Hmm.
this podcast we're like, what version of watch is it? What version of what
Yeah,
is?
we've been doing this too long. Yeah.
They're all 26. All 26.
Yeah.
iPhone 26, Apple Watch 26, iPad 26. They're all the
Version
20.
26 comes out in the year 2025. In the
And
year
it
2026, version 27 will come out. It makes no sense, but it makes sense in its own ridiculous way.
it's the car model. It's the car approach. It's the same thing that cars
Yeah,
do.
it
We
is.
we understand the traditional car fashion. That this is like what we do. You know, it's crazy. Now, this isn't going to happen. I had this in mind because Visual Studio 2026 was announced, the insiders build, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if there was like .net 26 and ASP.NET Core 27? Would we just copy everything?
Yeah,
Like everything's
that'd be fun.
26. Everything's 26. Everything's the year. It makes sense in general. I don't know.
All right, James.
VS Code
So
26. I'm ready.
what if, just hypothetically, what if good isn't good enough for you? And what if impossibly thin is not good enough for you? What are you to do?
I'm left with
What
one
if
decision to give them the most money,
mhm.
to give them all my money.
Just give Tim Cook everything you got.
Here you go, Tim. Bam.
You win this round, Tim, just like you won the last 17 rounds. Yeah. So I'm gonna buy myself an iPhone 17 Pro because you know what? It's a killer phone. it's
It's a great phone.
it's all the good things we said about the iPhone 17, but better, but more. More RAM,
And
more
it has
GPUs.
it has all the good things, from the iPhone Air as far as
Yeah.
processor, but all the other good things from the iPhone 17, but even better. It has all the things from the other two phones, but better combined.
Yeah. Do you like 48 megapixels? Well, it's got that. Do you like the cool square camera thing? Got that. Do you love giant plateaus on the back of your phones? Oh, it's got a plateau. It's got a big plateau. You're
Big
going to get
plateau.
that. And you know what else it's got now, James? This is the funniest part. And I almost did a spit take when they started this. It's got a vapor chamber.
It's got a vapor
That's right.
chamber. You got to have it.
How do your phones not have vapor chambers? Do you remember the days before phones had vapor
Yeah.
chambers?
Well, my favorite is they're like, it was the same thing. They're like, what we've done is we've shifted all of the components into the plateau and we put the biggest battery of the whole phone is one battery. And then like, because everything gets hot, we put on a heat sink and that is liquid cooling your phone. That's like, okay. So like what you're saying is I'm not really holding a phone anymore. I'm just holding a battery. Is that correct, Tim? And then so it's cool. No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's got the cameras, right? It's got the 48 megapixel Pro Fusion. There was dual fusion, Pro Fusion,
Fusion? All the fusion.
Fusion. It's got the 48 megapixel main fusion, 48 megapixel fusion ultra wide, and then the 48 megapixel fusion telephoto.
Yeah.
So it's got all the 48 megapixel cameras on it, which means it can do 8x optical zoom on this puppy. 8x.
That's crazy. It's actually 8x. I didn't even catch that. That's kind of cool.
8x.
Now I can take pictures of the birds.
No, that says optical zoom, which means optically,
Yeah.
not digital zoom. Like you can go past it, right? And then you're digital.
AI.
So,
AI. I mean, even in our old meetups that we used to do, I was showing super sampling. It is trivial for a neural network to go up 4x or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the difference here is in the iPhone 16 Pro, you had 125. Now you have 1248. So that's pretty.
Wow.
You lost a 5, but guess what? You can get there.
I
You
don't
can
need
get
a 5.
there. You can get to 5. It's
The
good. for you.
megapixels make up for it. Yeah, there's just so many pixels there. There's like, okay, yeah, we can zoom in all you want, especially digitally. So it's interesting that the optical number you said went up. So that means they actually do have a different physical lens on there.
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused with like we keep saying 48 megapixel fusion, so that's when you're using multiple cameras at once.
Yes.
I believe some of the cameras are actually only 12 megapixels. Some of the sensors, I should be saying. But honestly, Apple's marketing, it's really hard to tell what's what. But I think at least one of the cameras physically is actually the 48 megapixel, just like the iPhone 17.
No. It's
no.
no.
Okay.
So on the iPhone 16 Pro, it was a 48 megapixel fusion main, 48 megapixel ultra wide, and a 12 megapixel telephoto. However, now this does say 48 megapixel for all three. It does say fusion. I don't know exactly, but if I dive into the specs, someone please correct me if I'm wrong. I am pretty sure they're all 48 megapixels.
It was very confusing in the presentation because in the presentation they said all three cameras are 48 megapixels. And then there was like a beat and they said fusion. So I'm not sure if that means, is this a little bit of a software trick where you're doing sampling from all the cameras?
Could be.
I guess in the end, it doesn't matter too much. Apple phones produce good photography. I certainly didn't. I'm not buying this thing just for the cameras, but I do like that optical zoom. I definitely use this ultra wide more than the zoom, but when you need it, a physical zoom is always superior to a digital zoom. So
always super nice.
Yeah. So I get big heavy one, and of course there's a max version of it. I really did want a smaller, lighter phone. I guess I'm just not going to get it this year because the tech specs of the Pro just beat out the other one so much. It seemed like the one to get.
The iPhone 17, if we can get the iPhone 17 with all of the stuff of the iPhone 17 Pro, but in the body of the iPhone 17, that's what we want. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
imagine that.
Which doesn't make any sense because there's literally.
What if they weren't squeezing it into the plateau?
I mean, there's literally more components, in it.
Yeah.
So that is the challenge of it in general. But
I
yeah,
was
I mean,
literally. Oh, I'm sorry. I was making that comparison in my head when I was debating between the Air and the Pro. I'm like, for $100, you are physically getting a lot more phone. You're getting a
so much
bigger
more.
battery, two more cameras, maybe three more. The flash is better. Like you are getting physically, tangibly more stuff for a
And you're getting
small price upgrade.
an aluminum unibody, which is like the like custom chiseled aluminium. They love the aluminium. So you're back over here. No, I agree. It's just for the price. Like if they had come out and said this is a $1,500 phone, then you're like, all right, well maybe I'll get actually I
Yeah,
just get the iPhone 7, but
yeah,
they would have to be like, okay, hey, the Air is 800, the 7 is, they'd have to kind of do it that way, but they want the Air to be premium, and it is premium. It's a beautiful device. However, spec wise, it's not premium. So to me, I'd rather spend the $100. And it's the same. It's the same storage, 256 across the board, which for me is
yeah.
totally fine enough. That's what I would
Mhm.
get for Heather. I do like the orange. I'm a big fan of orange.
Ooh, you're going
So,
big.
well,
Okay.
I'm not. I don't know whatever color Heather wants. I said you got to pick out a color. You only
Mhm.
got three. So I like the
Mhm.
blue. The blue's really nice. Yeah.
The blue's beautiful. Yeah. The orange is a little too bold for me. I feel like I've passed the age group where I can pull off an orange phone. So I'm gonna go with nice conservative white.
I think Heather will probably go silver. She might go deep
Yeah.
blue. I hope she goes cosmic orange because that's the one I want 3 years from now. Well, so the only thing is is this system? This is what we ask ourselves every 3 years. Is this system worth the upgrade versus like the iPhone 14 Pro?
Tough, because the 14 Pro is still a really good phone right now. For me, I'm definitely drawing the line at USB C
Yeah.
and can it run Apple Intelligence? Those are my only strong lines in the sand. Um, so if I would say that to most people who are asking me like what phone to buy, those are the two lines I would draw. But I'll let you figure out your own lines.
I think the thing that probably sells me on it for our use case might be that front facing camera because we
Yeah.
do take some selfies and I think I would like for them to be better. I always think to myself, like, are the photos that Heather takes on her iPhone 14 Pro bad? And the answer is no, because they are very nice. Now, can I bring out my Canon, 50 Mark
Sure.
II and with my telephoto lens get awesome photos? Yes, but I don't take it around with me very often. So it's like, could an 8X maybe replace this thing, right? Well, it might be
Hmm.
very fascinating, right? Can we get that into it? And that could be cool. So I think the front facing camera, because we do take a lot of selfies out and about, might be a good game changer that might be worth the update in general.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of look at it as a, family there. I believe that Hanselman got the Pro Max.
Pro
I'm not a bit,
Max.
I
It's
don't know.
got bigger hands than me.
I don't like the big phones. I don't need the big phones.
Now. My pockets are
So
small.
pockets are small.
James, I just have one more thing I want to talk about before we go.
Oh, sure.
We've been talking about hardware this whole time, but you know what else is coming out with these phones? Software.
Oh,
And I was the only reason I really watched the event because I knew I was going to buy a phone. It was just debating which one. Like I don't care whatever they say in the event. I just want to know when iOS 26 and macOS 26 were shipping, so I knew to get my updates out because
yeah.
my apps need some updating. Beta summer is coming to an end. When does beta summer end? It ends September 15th. Right
Wow.
now. If you're listening to this, I hope you updated your app because
Today.
it's too late. No, you can still do it. It's fine. But yeah, so after the event, I started stressing. I'm like, oh, geez, 1 week. So I got to get all my apps into review and get them reviewed and uploaded and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to do a little PSA to let everyone know that the GitHub Action, what do you call them? Computers, I guess,
Computers.
that the actions actually run on hosts, whatever, have finally been updated. Hashtag finally. Oh, and at the event, they released release candidates for the OS, Mac OS, iOS, and Xcode. The GitHub action images have just been updated on Thursday, so you have no excuse. You can be running your actions. And although .NET 9 does not technically support Xcode 26, there is a cool little flag you can pass into it. I forget exactly what it is, but it's something like, ignore the Xcode version, just build my app, gosh darn it. So I think it's something like verify Xcode version. And you can actually
Ah,
set that to false. So you can use .NET 9 and build against the
nice.
26 SDK.
That's good.
But maybe a little better than that is you could use a pre-release version of .NET 10, which in preview supports Xcode 26 and all this fancy new stuff. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. None of us have any excuses. We can all be updating our apps for the new OS version and glassifying our apps.
Well, what if I told you, Frank, that not only is it not a preview, but now it is a release candidate with a go live license?
I used the wrong word. It's an RC. Apple did an RC. I don't. Does Apple ever do RCs? They used to call them gold somethings.
Yeah, GM.
That's right. It's an RC. Go live. Let's all go live. Cool. Thanks for
That's
clarifying.
official. So go live license, which we talked about on last Tuesday, the same date, funnily enough. Go live license means that with the RCs, it's officially supported, right? So it's in there. If you called Microsoft and you were paying for support, then they would answer the phone. Whatever that means to you in general. People in big businesses like to go live license. So that means just go update it, right? There's obviously could be bugs,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I mean, there's going to be fixes after GA, so it doesn't matter. But so you can easily get it. The images, all the things are updating. Obviously, the release is a few months away, but that means that you could, confidently get it out there as well with the RCs
Yeah.
if you didn't want to do previews, like, in general. So there's that. And the other thing, last thing here, no, no Vision Pro, Frank.
What did you think there was going to be, like a Vision Super Pro, or you thought there'd be a new Vision device? September is always an iPhone event.
Yeah,
No iPads, no Mac talk, no
no.
Vision talk. This is always the Watch, AirPods, iPhone event. So
I was
that I wasn't surprised.
I was hoping for a Vision Air.
Vision Air. I mean,
Vision
they're
Air.
they're due. They're due. What's the Vision? Vision is a year and a half old now. It used to be 2 years between product releases, so
Yeah.
that would make sense. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, because if I see one that's cheap, I'm just gonna be mad that I didn't get the cheap one.
You did buy the
So I'm
Pro
fine
version.
with it. I'm fine with
Hey, you bought the Pro
it.
version. You bought the Pro version. So
Pro,
that's good.
baby. I'm
You're
all
pro.
about the pros. Oh, I just got to put in one last little thing. If you are using my cross intelligence library, there were breaking changes. It's all been patched up. It's all been built for RC.
Nice.
So you can actually ship apps using my cross intelligence library,
Nice.
because it's important. You can't build stuff with the beta versions of Xcode and then ship them. So
Yeah.
I have new versions of that out, version 0.4. So if you
Exciting.
want to add some AI to your .NET apps, that's one way to do it.
Do it. All right. Let's gonna do for this week's merge conflict. Let us know which iPhone you're buying or none, or which Android you have in general, and like maybe our whole analysis is ridiculous. Let us know. Write us into the show, mergeconflict.fm. That's gonna do for this week's Merge Conflict. So until next time, I'm Jason Altamagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.